Thank you very much, Alexander. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to speak to you about the topic of climate change management and solutions for this. ClimatePartner is a company that offers solutions for other corporate companies to become active in climate management and climate change management. And I'd like to talk to you about why this makes sense, how it should be done, and which instruments can be used to actually work for the climate. So first of all, the point is, and that's actually common truth in the meantime, climate crisis does exist. If we look at figures from the past, we already see that the global temperature has risen by 0.6 degrees centigrade since the Industrial Revolution. The target is of the Kyoto Protocol and of the common sense of all scientists that global warming shall only be limited to a plus 2 degrees Celsius by the next century. This is a big challenge because we've already had a strong temperature rise and man-made greenhouse gases are continuously rising. So everybody must actually act together in order to get this very ambitious target to work. But how can companies actually act? Because that is one of the main levers which we actually have at our disposal, that companies become active in climate change management. I can let you know what companies should do and can do in order to protect our climate. And it's actually a step of 4 parts. The first part is you always have to find out where you stand. So how much carbon does a company actually emit itself? How strongly does the company influence our climate? So you need, as first of all, a carbon footprint, and to measure all the greenhouse gas emissions that are emitted by producing or delivering services throughout a company. That's step 1. The second step, very important, is after you have measured your carbon emissions and know where you stand, is to set up targets to reduce these emissions. So to take up efforts as far as you can in order to avoid carbon emissions or to reduce them in your production, in the way you work, together with the whole employees. That is the second step that is necessary. In the end, if you produce or if you offer services in the modern world, it is not possible to reduce these carbon emissions to 0. Meaning that you will always use energy and you'll always have to emit carbon or greenhouse gases. There is an instrument that is called offsetting carbon emissions, where you can invest into climate protection projects or carbon offset projects, where emissions are effectively reduced elsewhere. This you can support, which means that you measure your own carbon emissions, reduce them. The ones you cannot longer avoid, you offset through carbon offset projects. This leads to a company being able to produce services or products in a carbon neutral or climate neutral way. So this is the third step to take if you want to protect the climate effectively. The last step, and that's something that is good for you, it should also be good for, if it's good for the climate, it's good for your company, but it's only good for your company if you market it in the right way. So you have to let your customers know what you're doing in protecting the climate, and that's why you have to market your efforts, do good, and talk about it. And you should do it in the right way. Work with partners that can support you in actually protecting the climate, in offsetting your carbon, and reducing your carbon emissions. Document this in the right way, make sure it's tangible, make sure your customers understand it, and make sure it's believable. And this can be done, for example, by working together with a company like ClimatePartner, where complete transparency on the whole process is set up. But what do you actually need for your company to make it work? Well, that's also another 4-step topic. First of all, if you want to protect the climate and become active in climate protection, there needs to be a commitment top down. The management has to believe in it being the right thing to do, into implementing carbon emission protection, climate protection, and drive this into the company. Everybody has to work on the topic. Secondly, there have to be simple solutions. Why simple? If it's not simple, nobody's going to do it. If not the easiest task within the company can be done towards climate protection by everybody in the company, nobody will do it. So the solution has to be simple. How can it be made simple? It can be made simple with IT. So every process in a company in the meantime is somehow controlled or connected to IT. If you have a solution to protect the climate that is integrated into your IT systems that you are used to using, then it becomes simple and applicable. And the fourth step is full integration, meaning not only full integration within your IT systems, within the company processes, but also the full integration in the minds of your employees. Everybody has to work on this topic, and only then can you really get it on the road and can really get it into the market. Next topic is, why does it actually make sense? Well, it makes sense to protect the climate for many different reasons. Let me talk to you first about the not so obvious reasons. Why does it make sense for you and your company? Well, first of all, you have internal effects that you achieve through protecting the climate. First of all, you announce that you adopt responsibility towards your employees, towards your shareholders. You increase awareness for the topic. That means you're spreading the topic of climate protection to many people within your company, within your shareholders, within your stakeholders. You can bond and acquire new employees. How does this work? We have seen that becoming active in climate protection, and one pillar of sustainability, is actually strongly valued by employees. Not only the economical sustainability of the company, which is the usual topic within a company, but also environmental responsibility. Climate protection is something that your employees will value strongly. And of course, you reduce costs. Why do you reduce costs? Because you reduce carbon emissions. To reduce carbon emissions, you reduce the use of energy. Energy costs money, so you have a possibility to reduce your internal costs. The second pillar is external effects that you can achieve with your company. Well, first of all, you could transport a positive image. If you are doing credible climate protection, this image will transport towards your customers and towards your stakeholders around your company. You diversify your offerings. With offering climate neutral products, you have an additional attribute to your products, and you can diversify your offerings to your customers. You differentiate towards competitors because not everybody is already active in climate protection. You can become active in climate protection and differentiate yourselves towards your competitors, and thus retain customers that value the topic of climate protection. And of course, you gain new target groups that want to become active in the topic as well, where you enable your customers to become active in climate protection. And all this, on the bottom line, will have the effect that you grow sales. And of course, why does it make sense? Well, the main topic is, of course, you do protect the climate if you become active in climate protection. Very simple, but that's a fact. This means you will secure the basis of a future existence, not only for your company, but for your peers, for your stakeholders, for everyone around you, and set up a sustainable development for us and our children, working against climate protection, working against the doomsday atmosphere that will happen if we don't act. So the last question I want to answer for you is, how can ClimatePartner help you? Let me tell you a little bit something about ClimatePartner. First of all, we are a world-leading solution provider for climate protection. We offer solutions in the IT area to make it simple for you to implement climate protection. We develop strategies for you on how to reduce, optimize, and lower your carbon emissions, and really get it implemented into processes of your company to set up targets and set up goals to really act positively on climate protection. We're founded 6 years ago now, and our core industry is actually the print industry, which is why we're very happy to be here at the Drupa with Media Mundo, because our core industry is the printing industry, where we have become experts. We have also developed our expertise into other directions, into other companies, along the complete supply chain of paper, print, and packaging, into logistics, all the way up to consumer goods and brand name articles, ending up at the consumer end. So we can develop strategies on climate protection and solutions in IT across the whole delivery chain towards the consumer. In the end, we can proudly say that more than 1,000 customers in 23 countries worldwide trusted our solutions, and we are actually the leading solution provider for print companies. We have the most customers in this area. We've also developed the carbon neutral or climate neutral print process, and we're proud to say that we have more than 400 printing companies trusting in our solutions. How does it actually work? One last topic here is we have developed an online software solution that is accessible through the web, where you can calculate the carbon emissions of your company, of your printing company, for example. You have the result of a carbon footprint, and then have a calculator at your disposal so you can actually calculate the carbon emissions of a single print job, for example, and can offset this by investing into offset projects and offer your customers climate neutral print products. This is documented by certificates which we deliver for every single print job, so your customers can actually get a print job offset, can document this correctly, can label it as climate neutral, and offer your customers the possibility to engage in climate protection. Complete transparency in how this works across the whole chain. Very simple solution that can also be even implemented with your existing IT systems, with your cost calculation, meaning MIS or ERP systems. So we try to deliver on our promise in the sense that you need a simple solution. It needs to be fully integrated. All you need is the commitment from your side, which is why we say do climate protection. Why? Because it's good for the climate, it's good for you, and all you have to do is just do it. Thank you very much.